seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double doon. Don't back down, double doon.
Yes, here we go. It's the Double Doon Show. Don't back down. Double Doon. You know the one. Tonight, the Bhoycie bus drives in at one hell of a comfortable pace. Celtic are getting deals over the line. The Bhoycie bus is nowhere near the finishing line. And on with me tonight is Del Boy from the Celtic Supporters Podcast. Welcome aboard the bus, mate.
Good evening, mate. Pleasure, mate.
Nice one, mate. It's been a long time coming, this show, Del. I think at the time we'd booked you in, mate, it was like a 2-month waiting queue or something to get on, and you were like, all right, mate, June. I was like, genuinely, that's all I've got. Now I've got about a 2-week waiting queue, but that's another story, Del. That's another story. It is awfully funny to have a show where two characters from Only Fools and Horses names appear, Bhoycie and Del Boy, but hey, that's what happens. What a day it has been in the Celtic sphere. It has been mental what's happened today, because on the opening day of a transfer window, we get one of the fans' number one choices signed permanently on a 4-year deal. We are not fucking around. Before we get stuck right into that, we've got a busy bus. 66 folk watching live already, Del Boy. It's a Friday night. Well, it's just crazy, mate. If you've not already, hit like, hit subscribe, keep folk coming, gets traction at the channel. That's what we want. Obviously, there's optional options if you want to become a member, like Phil McGinley, Theresa Lyle Photos, Scott Howe, Scott Cameron. I'm seeing loads of names coming up in green now, which is class and it's really appreciated. Obviously, the t-shirts, they're not available anymore. That's why I've started wearing mine, because I didn't want to be like ramming it down folks' throat, Del. It wasn't really my style to be doing that. So now that the t-shirts are off the market, I'm going to start wearing them and make folk wish they had one. Only teasing. Hope everyone is good. Del Boy, how are we feeling today, mate? Celtic have decided to go straight out on the opening day of the season, announce the best shirt they ever have, with Adidas making them so far, in my opinion. And on top of that, they sign the best defender in Scotland on a 4-year deal. How you feeling, mate?
Unbelievable, mate. It was one of the ones. It's always been in the back of your minds that are we going to get these two marquee deals out of the line? it's been a worry for the Celtic fans. But I was driving to the wee man's training the night, as you were talking about the kit. I sent you a wee picture of it today. One of the best kits of all time, going back to the 90s. I'm loving this one, but the Carter Vickers deal just cements a big footprint for us going into the season. First day of the transfer window again, mate. Absolutely over the moon with this signing. So happy about it, mate.
It's a brilliant signing, and that's the thing. It's not just about the fact the fans are getting what they wanted, or right at the beginning of the window, which is so unusual in a weird way. And we're going to talk about how Celtic are maybe shifting gears in their sort of attitude to the transfer market. And let's certainly hope that's the case. But I think we need to look at what Cameron Carter-Vickers brings to the table from a footballing perspective. Celtic went for last year, dropping points, conceding stupid goals, left, right and centre, to the meanest defence in the league by a considerable distance. With a guy, Starfelt, who was much maligned, particularly the first half of the season. And yet Cameron Carter-Vickers, I think the record is, wait for this, they haven't lost a league game since they starting together, Starfelt and Vickers. Now, for me, that's an astonishing stat. But Cameron Carter-Vickers has popped up with important goals as well at the other end. I also think he is our best ball playing centre half. I think he's even better than Julian. I think he brings it out even more naturally than him. And I know Julian's for the exit now anyway, it's a bit hypothetical, but I think that Cameron Carter-Vickers has got a calmness. I think in Europe he played beyond these years. I think that's only going to be amplified going into the Champions League. On the park, for the evolution of the Celtic team, it was crucial that Ange didn't muck about with the centre-half pairing. Now, we were told when Ange was appointed, that Ange wouldn't really care about defence. 4-4 draws he would rather instead of 1-0 wins, Dan Orlovich was telling us all the way from Japan. Utter nonsense. The one partnership he refused to rotate this season, point blank refused, was centre-backs. How important do you think it was to Ange to ensure Cameron Carter-Vickers was signed when you consider all those sort of facts, mate?
It's a massive part of the jigsaw. It's a massive part of the jigsaw. I think even being a wee bit old school, that your defence is certainly the building point going forward. Whether you're a manager that likes to play attacking football, you have to have a settled back four. I was relatively surprised towards the end of the season when there was games that he could have brought Julian and Welsh in, but as you say, he's stuck with it. He's stuck with that partnership. And that stat you came up with, I heard a few weeks ago as well, it's fucking scary. No matter what level of football you play, not to lose a game that length of time is phenomenal. And going forward, 2 or 3 years, hopefully the guys stay as a partnership. Then it's looking good, mate. Obviously the big test will be the Champions League next year, and we'll see what kind of how the partnership is, depending on what big guns we bring to paradise. But mate, it's a massive part of the jigsaw that's fell into place for me, and going forward, it's you just couldn't get a better present in a Friday night, and especially coming on the fucking Bhoycie bus for my debut, mate. So
mate, and I love it.
Over the moon, mate. Stella Artois, Bhoycie bus, Cameron Carter-Vickers on Big Angie's first anniversary, mate. So
Cheers to that, Dale. That was an emotional speech, mate. Speaking of emotional, Les Watts comes in. He's donated £5 to the bus, which is really, really kind of you. Thank you, Les. But the big news in that, he got the all clear for the old prostate. I think we all know what he's saying there. That's fantastic news, Les. Superb, mate. And welcome aboard, as always, my man. And thank you for your generosity. That was not needed at all, but thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated all the same. Now, I think you're right. Ange identified, mate, what was crucial to... Because he does play an expansive style. We all know that. The fullbacks play a slightly more unusual role than what we're used to. Inverted fullbacks. What the fuck are they? Is what we were saying at the start of the season, Dale. I didn't like the sound of that. But he realised that the two centre-halves are going to be very important. I don't want to bore you too much with the quotes, but I think it's important to read out what Postecoglou said on the back of signing him today. So he says, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm not going to do the accent, right? I'm not doing the accent. I'm absolutely delighted that the club has completed the signing of Cameron on a permanent basis. This is a major acquisition for Celtic. It's really positive news for us, and everyone at the club has worked so hard to make this happen. Cameron has given everything of himself to the club so far, demonstrating his real value to the team and to the way we play. He was vital to our success during the season, such a hard-working player of real quality, and he was an absolute model of consistency. When we identify a player, this is the bit I like, we always hope that they can settle into things as quickly and as easily as possible. But like so many other players during the season, Cameron slotted into life at Celtic brilliantly from very early on. He's a great guy, hugely popular, and we're delighted he sees his future with us. I mean, fucking hell. That's a glowing endorsement. You can tell this is Ange showing his appreciation, I think, this time, Dale, because we're always going to have one eye on that board for the foreseeable future, I think, right now, because we've seen so many windows go the wrong way. And I think even, see, last summer's window, I think there were still things that could have went Pete Tong had it not been for Postecoglou pulling a couple of rabbits out the old hat. And you think about it, Cameron Carter-Vickers arrived on the last day of the season, mate. So did Giakoumakis, and so did, was it Jota on the last day of the window? Who was it? There was 3 players arriving the last day of the window, and you think, that's a bit last minute Larry for me. You know, and I don't think Celtic are going to be like that this season. I'm actually beginning to think, Del, last 2 transfer windows, we've signed at least 1 player, and we're hoping it's 2 before the close of play tonight.
Yeah.
We've been used to last-ditch signings, Del. Do you think Celtic's maybe turned the corner in the approach? And by the way, you can give your thoughts on the Ange quotes as well, of course.
The big factor is Ange Postecoglou. That's it. That's the be all and end all for me. I think he's come in, and obviously we've spoke about him so much in the last 12 months, but it's him and him alone, Bhoycie. I think you can see where the guy's personality, the way he comes across. He comes into Celtic. He runs the club. There's guys there that are in charge of money and finances and whatever else it may be, but the main factor in these signings, going back to January with the Japanese contingent coming in and the Carter-Vickers signing tonight, is Ange Postecoglou. So yes, we've certainly turned the corner. It's down to him, and going forward for the next 3 or 4 years, if he's in place, this is what's going to happen. This is the way the club's going to go, and it's all down to that man, 100%.
Aye, I 100% agree with that, mate. I really do. Now, let's think about the board's strategy in the last window. We signed, well, it was the day before the window, if you remember. The day before the window opened, the 3 Japanese players, Hatate, Maeda, and Ideguchi, were all announced. 3 guys by day 1 of a transfer window, unheard of. This time is 1 player, but I think the rumoured fee is £6 million signing on day 1 of the transfer window. Del, are we seeing a change in the approach for the Celtic board? And is it necessary, if we're going to keep progressing the way that we've shown we potentially could this season?
Yeah, it's definitely necessary. I've been going to Paradise for the 80s, so I've been used to the last minute stuff and the bad old days of the 90s and Rangers coattails and stuff. So aye, it's certainly necessary. I think you need to move with the times, mate. Obviously last year still rankles a wee bit losing the 10. To be fair, with my age getting a wee bit on, I get out it relatively quick. Honestly, it was a kick in the balls, but I think it was a kick in the balls for the fans and the board, just to have a wee step back, have a look at themselves, have a look at the structure of the club, and listen, we've pulled a couple of rabbits out the hat with Postecoglou and guys like that, and look where we are. So I think everything's just fallen into place, mate. And because of the close knit community now, that they brought the fans together, the players together, the board together, the management team. It's always good to wake up every morning being a team, but it's even better waking up when the club's in such a fantastic place, mate. And listen, roll on whenever the first league game or whatever it is, mate, because I'm fucking buzzing for it, man. Absolutely buzzing.
There is a real feel-good atmosphere. And do you know what? The club definitely needs scrutinised on the back of sometimes, I think, very, very questionable decision-making in terms of appointing Neil Lennon, in terms of bringing in the likes of John Joe Kenny last January, and just baffling decisions made throughout, going to Dubai. But I think we also need to accept that, see, when the name Postecoglou's been put to them, I think they've either went on a whim because they really had put all their eggs in one basket with Howe and went, we'll need to go with this. Or do you know what? They've shown the first time, Dale, they showed for the first time, we're going to take a progressive decision and go for this guy. And we're going to do it, not in spite of the fans, because we know they'll be moaning when he gets appointed because no one will know of him. But we're going to show that we're going to be more creative and they're modernising the way Celtic's thinking. Now, there's a lot of that board, though, that are still the same era as the Peter Lawwell one. I think a lot of people felt it was stuck, if you like. The wheels were stuck and we didn't know where we were going as long as they were getting their bonuses. I don't know if Nicholson's the guy who's sort of got it more forward thinking. I don't know if Don Mackay had the big say at the start of the season or if he was just the face of it. You don't know what role Mark Lawwell's going to play. But one thing I do think is we have to equally critique the board when they fuck you off. And that might happen again this year. It was only mid-season when we were on a high that they were trying to bring in Higgins. But I also think we have to give credit where it's due. The manager has told them he has a number one target or a list of, say, he's got 4 or 5. And one of them, on the first day of the window, Dell, has been ticked off. That, to me, is a very encouraging sign for this summer, pal.
As I think I agree with your point with when the board do stuff right, then you need to put your hands up. I think it's the same with the players as well. You get a lot of shit on these kind of podcasts and stuff for critiquing players when they don't play well. But if we never done that, we would have nothing to talk about. So, for me, the relationship with the Celtic fans and the board, going back as long as I've been supporting Celtics, it's always been sketchy. It's always been very, very hard to trust the board. But what I do say is there is still some old dinosaurs in there. There is still guys tramping about that the fans don't want to be there. But if they're making signings like this, if they're making signings like they did in January, and if they're quiet and flying under the radar and backing Ange, then that's fine with me. Last year when the shit was hitting the fan, I could understand the fan disappointment. The board should have come out and spoke to us. They should have related to the fans in regards to Higgins and what was happening with Lennon and stuff. But it's gone well now. So let them fly under the radar. Let them make signings. Let them back Ange. See, if I'm not hearing for him, I'm fucking happy. As long as we're doing the business on the park, mate. That's the way I look at it.
No, I think you're right. And I think a lot of people do echo that. I just think it's what we see on the park can sometimes be dictated by what they do as well. That unfortunately, that crossover of your emotion tends to happen. I mean, things didn't go right in the season. We failed to make the 10, as you say, Del. I appreciate the fact that you managed to get over it relatively quickly. So did I, to be honest. I think me and you spoke on your podcast, the Celtic Supporters one, about the fact we'd seen them win 9 in a row in the 90s, and the fact, that was worse for me than us just not quite making the 10. And I think that was a good schooling almost for the disappointment. I think a lot of the Celtic fans, and I don't mean it in an ageist way, but they've never really experienced lows. A lot of that generation, because we've been so dominant the last 2 decades domestically, it's unbelievable. We grew up at a time where it was the other way round, and it's like, see, when you've experienced that, since the turn of the millennium, this has been unbelievable bliss. It was shite last season, but in the grand scheme of things, give me 16 out of 21 titles. I think we would have all took that in 2000, don't you? We would have.
Definitely.
Now, Monty, I agree with you, mate. Ignoring the board is the worst thing you can do. But absolutely saying they deserve praise when when it's due. But we're gonna we'll keep shining the torch, mate. And the summer's still got a long way to go. But I cannot deny so far, the last two transfer windows, Andrew's identified players or told them who to sign, they've went out and done it. I've got no qualms with that. And I'm not going to be completely biased one way or the other, where you're still wanting to criticise the board on a good Celtic news day. And today is a good Celtic news day. The board deserves kudos. Ange deserves kudos for convincing a guy to leave the riches of England, where he's well respected at championship level, where he'd get more money, by the way, at half those championship clubs than he will at Celtic, but he wanted to stay with us. That is down to the manager, down to us fans, and the living up here, down to the success the team had by guaranteeing him an opportunity to play Champions League football and more of the same, please. Now, speaking of transfer strategies, Del, a huge change that I noticed last summer was both our loan signings came with first option to buys on them both. And we're talking about Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers here. Now, whilst I have hated, and there's so many to mention, El Kadouris, Braffites, John Joe Kennys, Tolyans, these loan signings, mate, Kazim Richards, Carlton Coles, I don't know if they were short-term permanent signings maybe even, but these sort of loan signings have not came with any sort of future planning, Del. They've came in to be an elastoplast, a sticky plaster over a big crack. What we got with signing Jota and CCV was try before you buy. Now, these weren't players whose careers were, maybe their best days behind them and they were trying to go for one last crack of adrenaline in Scotland. They weren't players that were necessarily on the scrap heaps at their two parent clubs either. They were players that were on the periphery at their parent clubs, but I think their parent clubs weren't quite committed to selling them either because they seen obviously talent in both of them. But what we got was two guys really hungry, Del. Really hungry to come and impress at Celtic. And remember when they join on loan, they've got to agree to that being an option, first option Celtic to buy as well. Otherwise, they could say, I'll join them on loan, but I'll not join with that first option bit. And then we've got a decision to make. With all that said, I'm not totally against us doing that again this summer. If there is players of the similar profile in terms of their age, in terms of their ability, essentially as well, that we might think, don't know, there's not much of a body of work in their career so far to go by that they'd be worth splashing £6-7 million on, but we would put on a first option to buy because we know the talent that they possess, and if they can do it consistently over the season, we'll make them permanent. I'm not against that either, Dale.
No, I think it's a very shrewd move. I don't think it's obviously a move that's never been made before. I think you've heard about it over the years, the loan to buy deal. Obviously, in the background, Celtic haven't jumped on that opportunity with some of the players you've previously mentioned, and thank God. But I think, again, without patting the board too much in the back, in case anybody in the comments wants to cut me my house and cut my heat off. But, I think it's a shrewd move. I know, I'm a scheme boy, mate. I'm used to getting chased about. But I think it's a shrewd move, mate. I think it's obviously with Carter-Vickers over the line, and hopefully Jota. I'm totally not against it, mate. Getting into the summer, obviously the Champions League coming back to paradise is so big this year. Yes, if Andrew gets another 2 or 3 he's permanent signings, it's he wants on the line, and whoever may be going out the other way out the door, then 100% bring another 2 or 3 of these guys in on a loan to buy. For me, I think Andrew's got a notepad and he knows exactly who's coming in and who's going out this summer. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another couple of deals like that done in the coming weeks, mate.
I used to feel that. I agree with you, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised either, because see when you get a winning formula, then you go back to that formula. And like I say, it was very, very stark difference when both players were announced and both of them had that option to buy. I thought, actually, when I think about it, I can't think of another loan signing we've had that option to buy. Not off the top of my head anyway, do you know what I mean? I've always
There's
been thinking.
there's none of the there was none of the Japanese ones. Was Maeda and all that as well?
Aye, but he was it was the weirdest thing that I don't actually understand what it was about, but he had to be bought in the summer.
Right. Aye.
So
I knew there was some sort of
why do that though?
Aye.
Surely we had 1.7 million at the back of the couch, you know what I mean? But I think that there's been, see, if we're going to be doing loan signings, then I want them to be guys that we get the first option on. Not that do well here, they're in a shop window for some other club just to take them off us. You know, you look at remember Craig Bellamy signing? He was only 25, 26 at the time. He'd went on to have been a Celtic legend. And I think if he'd been signed with an option to buy, he would have accepted the option to buy part of it. It was only once it got to the summer and he was allowed to be fed all the stuff for other clubs, like I think it was Blackburn Rovers he went to, 40, 50 grand a week. Sorry, Martin, I'm going to go there. But if we put that option to buy on, and that was a clause you could back even back then, you know. I say even back then, it was only 16 years ago. But I think he could have been, that is a great example, I think, of us missing a trick. So now that we've had a taste of it, I'm the same as you, mate. I'm not against it this summer. I appreciate some fans, right, might be thinking, well, and this is again where it's going to be such an interesting summer, Del, right? Because without knowing exactly what's in the Celtics accounts, you see the published accounts, I think it was 18 million there is sitting in cash right now. We all know roughly you get 35, 40 for the Champions League, right? So it doesn't take Einstein to sort of start working out that the clubs are a very healthy, rude financial health, right?
Yeah.
Now, that comes with a couple of different caveats. That strengthens Angie's hand when he says, get that deal done. I.e., if it's a John McGinn type player and it's an extra 300 grand, don't piss me about, go spend it. We don't want to be going down that road. It also, though, strengthens the hand of the selling club. Jinx Celtic might have to accept this summer to get Angie's key signings. We might need to spend a wee bit more than what even we wanted to at first. Or do you think they'll be still pretty resolute in that we won't spend a penny more than we think the player's worth?
Well, I think with the £6 million for Carter Vickers, it's probably set a wee bit of a benchmark. So if he's going to be looking to bring in, everybody's opinion's different, possibly a centre half, defensive midfielder and a left back, then if you're going to have a decent enough crack at the Champions League and obviously retaining a title, then you'll probably need to spend that money. The money in football's not gone that way. It's gone that way, and no matter what league you're signing them for, whether it be down south or Polish or German or whatever it may be, if you're going to sign a Europa Champions League quality left back, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million pounds, the asking price for a Celtic level player, and that's not me being disrespectful to the club I love. That's me just speaking the truth. We'll need to spend that kind of money, and that's just the way that football's going at this time. But Carter Vickers is a benchmark. Martin O'Neill's first signing was a £5-6 million player, so I don't know. As it went full circle, and then we're going back.
Sound the klaxon, ladies and gentlemen, and it wasn't me for the first time who'd said Martin O'Neill's name first.
Sorry.
No, we love it, mate. I'm obsessed with him.
So am I, mate. So am I.
I'm obsessed with him, man.
We'll need to do a full special one night, mate, for 3 hours.
Oh, mate, sign me up. Man.
Definitely.
But I think you're right. I think it maybe, again, going back to that signing, it is a bit of a benchmark that, signing as well, in terms of we're not scared to pay the money that's required. And I think Celtic at times need to accept as well. You're so right in what you said, Del. The money in football is going this way. Yet we counted on a guy this year. See, if you look at it from a cynical point of view, we counted on a guy this year to win us back a title that we were 25 points behind in last year, with a handful of £1 million signings, free transfers. I think 4.5 million was for Starfelt and Kyogo, and the rest were 3 million and under. It's a pretty risky strategy in 2022, when, as you say, Martin O'Neill's first season he was signing players for that value 22 years ago. Now, football for me financially has absolutely went skyrocketed in the last 22 years in particular. So how is Celtic operating in the same financial sort of boundaries as they were then, where, in my opinion, everywhere you look in football, it's in a different stratosphere for what it was back then, yet we're spending the same. That's got to change, in my opinion. We're going to need to speculate to accumulate at some point, eh?
We have, mate, 100%, and I think the money men, obviously, Dermot Desmond, who's always in the background, but listen, he's not a billionaire for no reason. I think it's got to the stage in the football logistics, whatever it may be, that he knows to be financially secure as a club, then we can't just keep winning Scottish League titles.
Yep.
But without mentioning the Tribute Act too much, they've been reasonably successful. You're still fucked anyway with money, but you need to be looking at Champions League minimum group stages and possibly drop them into the Europa League. Again, not being disrespectful to Celtic, but I'm a realist, so I kind of try to be realistic rather than be optimistic, which sometimes is my downfall. But you've got to be looking at a decent run in Europe every year to be sustainable as a Scottish football club, because we can't sign £6 million players if we don't. So Dermot Desmond, the board, and whoever else is in charge of the money in that, then we need to be looking year on year as a minimum as a Champions League group stage qualification at the very, very least, or then going in a decent Europa League run. And that's what, again, attracts players to the, other than us being a massive, massive pool in Europe. But signing a £6 million Carter Vickers player, as you said, he could have went to Swansea and get 45 grand a week, but he chose Glasgow Celtic, so...
Definitely, mate. I know. I think that's quite refreshing as well that Cameron Carter Vickers done that. Obviously, like I say, we had the option, but he will have known. We know in an era now where tapping up is the norm, agents in your ear is the norm. You know, fly manoeuvres getting done by guys at the top at football clubs, at agents, and players basically getting told where they're going. Do you know what I mean by these people? Undoubtedly, Cameron Carter Vickers and Jota, despite the fact they're part of this option to buy thing, they could have just spat the dummy, mate, and says, no, we're not going there. And it's because deep down they knew there's offers here, there's offers there, there's offers everywhere. Yeah. And what's happened is CCVs went, no, I've been everywhere. And it's not as good as Celtic Park. That's what's happened. It's the reality.
I think that a lot of people forget as well, Bhoycie, that Carter Vickers has played close to 120 games plus with Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Luton, fucking Swansea, Stoke City. He's been capped with the USA for under 18s right up to the current squad and had 9 caps. So we're signing an international football player who's had massive experience in the second tier of the English pyramid, which is a very, very good level. So I'm absolutely buzzing to see him in against the big boys, to see how it goes. And I think we've signed an absolute diamond, mate. And for him being so young, I think the board will be rubbing their hands, mate, because his next move could be a very, very big one. But hopefully not before his contract ends at the Hoops.
Absolutely, mate. And I think we do have to consider that as well. I do believe, Del, that sometimes when you're signing guys that are young, they've got bags of ability, they've proved it over the last 12 months at Celtic. I'm looking at Cameron Carter Vickers and going, even if you do think, even if there is someone on the board going, oh, just sign it, £6 million, surely the ambitious people in that board must be going, aye, but he's going to be playing at a higher stage than he's ever played at so far in his career, i.e. the Champions League. And if everything goes to plan, he'll be playing Champions League again next year,
Yeah.
and maybe the year after, if things start going the right direction. Therefore, you've got a better version of Cameron Carter-Vickers, who you can sell on surely for double, treble the money. I don't understand. Like, sometimes I'm like, 6 million doesn't mean we've lost 6 million. 6 million is an investment of the transfer
100%.
fee, you know.
100%.
And I think in this day and age as well, what is £6 million to English clubs these days, mate? Absolutely nothing. And
it's like me finding a fiver in my fucking jammy pocket on a Tuesday. That, mate? That?
I know what you mean. I totally know what you mean. I think right now, 6 million in the grand scheme of things, maybe we need to shift our attitude a wee bit as well and go, that's not a crazy amount of money. We're a top 32 European side right now. We are in the Premier tournament with the top 32 dying at the top table.
Yeah.
And none of them are blinking an eye at £6 million, mate. So why should we be? You know, if the club's going to go the way it should and the direction we all think it's capable of, and fulfill the potential we know it's got, then I think £6 million, we need to start thinking this should be the new normal at Celtic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just seen Monty there saying, do Ouija's wear jammies still? I'm not a fucking Ouija, Monty. I know I speak like one, but I'm not a Ouija, mate. I'm not a Ouija.
There you go. Dangerous to have all the comments up, mate.
I know, mate. I think I've got to turn them off, actually. Back to private chat.
It could be a tough school, mate.
I know, mate.
I did it when I was on the other pod, right? I was in the studio, if you like doing it, right? And so I was on his computer. I always used to just do it on my phone. And the first show I did, I'm no joking, there was 1,600 watching live, and the comments were just brrr, and not all of them are very nice either. I was like, I'm never doing that again, man. I was like, fuck.
I've been back onto private because I'm a nosy bastard as well, so I'll just keep looking. So, Alfred, how you doing, my man? How you doing, bro?
Loads of folk on the bus. Was 137 live right now. If you've not hit the like button, what is wrong with you? It's Friday night. Cameron Carter-Vickers is over the line, and I know some of you are going to be sitting with one eye on Twitter, hoping that the other lad that we had on loan last year, goes by the name of Jota, may sign as well. But whilst we're in such a feel-good move, Del, it's fair to recognise the 1 year anniversary of Ange Postecoglou. Some of us were unsure. Some of us were adamant he could do well. The truth is, no one knew how it would pan out. No one did. But what's even truer is, I reckon few, if anyone, could have expected within 12 months, from the day he signed, 12 months ago today, to now, he is spoke about, mate, like a king at Celtic, isn't it? I've never known such one-way traffic of love for a manager in my life. There's literally naysayers, if you like. I genuinely think there's far more of a love-in for Postecoglou than even Brendan Rodgers. Yeah. I think, this is wild, mate, what's going on right now. We'll go through it phase by phase. So 12 months ago today, Postecoglou is signed. What's your instant reaction?
Who the fuck is this guy? Genuinely, I genuinely never knew, mate. I don't consider myself a startle, Bhoycie, but I kind of keep in touch with European football and whatever, the German leagues, the Spanish leagues, and I'd never had a clue who the guy was. When he came in, I just thought, oh shit, man, what is happening? What are we doing? We've just lost the 10. Who's this guy? Where are we going as a club? I genuinely, and I'll put my hand up on a podcast, I've had my season ticket for 1993. I thought, I've had enough, man. I'm done with this shit. And it only took a week. Bhoycie. His first interview on the pre-season tour in Wales. I think our first game maybe against Bristol City. I can't remember. Charlton maybe. And I heard them speaking on the Celtic TV channel, and I thought, who's this guy? I like him, man. I like him. And then he obviously done the mic'd up session at the training session with the Celtic players. And mate, I was hooked right away. Even after the first 6 games, obviously we lost at Tynecastle. We lost 3 games out of the first 6, I think.
Aye.
But I was very, very early on, mate. I like to cut his jib. I like the way he came across. I like the way he spoke to the media. His personality. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a good judge of character in meeting people. But for me, Big Ange just came across so well. Very, very early on, and I bought in right away, mate. It was like a new sweetie in the fucking middle shelf in Lidl. I was like, I'm having that. He was for me, mate. He was definitely for me, man. Like in doing that much live in it, and you see like a new tin of tuna and a pair of ski boots, and then you're like, well, there's Big Ange in the middle. Aye, mate. Aye, he was for me, man. He was for me right away.
I like that, Del. I like that, mate. I like that attitude. I was very, very pessimistic. A lot of my pessimism came for the board as well, though. Do you know what I mean? Why the fuck would they be suddenly making a brilliant appointment like this? I did look at his record as well, and I'm not going to trophy laden. We getting told.
Yeah.
Trophy laden. I don't think it was right. Yes, he won the Asian Cup with Australia. To me, that's no great shakes. Albeit, it's the only time Australia have won it, so maybe it's not as easy as I would have thought. When you look at the teams in it, mate, it's not the strongest competition I've ever seen. Put it that way. I didn't like his performance in the Asian Champions League. It had been won 7 out of 15 years of his existence by the J League winners. Ange got to the last 16 after scraping out the group. I thought, fucking hell, that's no great. That's not a great sign. And 8 years with the Australian under-20s, and he failed to get to 2 World Cups. He got beat off teams like Kuwait. Who else? There was teams, Fiji. So 2 failed World Cup qualifying campaigns with Australia under-20. So the big fish in that qualifying, I thought, that's a dodgy record. And I'm combining that with...
Getting beat with rugby sevens teams.
It's so true.
Who is this guy?
And then I was like, fucking hell, you've got folk coming on and telling us, you know, from Japan and from Australia, he's going to be great. And I'm like, well, of course they're going to say that. Do you know what I mean? But what then happened was a disastrous start to the season. 3 wins for the first 7. And you're then beginning to start to go, how's he so relaxed? But I do remember he came out and said, after the Dundee United game, I think it was, withdrawn, and he says, "Oh, you call the league title, you're off the early, mate." And I think that was the first time I thought, oh, there's a wee bit of needle there. Like, he's almost saying it like, I know exactly what's fucking happening here. Because all he was caring about at that point was, are we improving? Is the message getting through? He goes, I'm seeing the improvements, but you just aren't. You're just seeing results, which is fine. That's a fan's right as well, by the way, to just see results, particularly after the season before. And with what was a jackpot win, mate, this year, £40 million. It was a jackpot win if you're going to win the league. There was a lot at stake. So we've got the right as fans to just see results. Ange was seeing it through a different prism. He was seeing the progress that I wasn't seeing, shall we say. But I do remember that interview and thinking, okay, now he's got my attention a wee bit, because it was the first time I felt I'd seen him almost talking about winning the title being important. Before that, it was almost like, well, I'm not going to change my style. And I'm like, well, you're no bigger than the club. That's how I felt at the time. You know, you need to find a way to win. You need to adapt, etc. And whilst I do think he adapted to a point, I think also the fact was he knew it was going to take time for what he sees as the most effective way to play to win football matches. This is what he always reminds people of as well, Dale. He says, I don't play this way because, it's great on the eye. He goes, I play it as well because I think it gives us the best chance to win matches. Telling me that after 3 wins for 7, I wasn't sure. I'm delighted I've been made to eat my words, Dale. Delighted. I'm delighted that I've watched a guy grow in the role. I don't mean as a person. I think he's a pretty big name as it was. It turns out a pretty big personality. But I just am delighted to have watched a guy save a football club, mate. Not just a team. That's what has happened. This was a Sharkgate only 15 months ago. You know what I mean?
It was, mate. I'm the same as you, mate. I love being proved wrong. I'll go on. I've kind of took a wee step back for the podcast now, the pre-season stuff, the post-season and that, but I'll get back into it soon. But I love being proved wrong, mate. But I will go on and post-match and shoot the shit and say he's been crap and he's done this and he's done that, and people will come on and say, how are you saying that about that guy? He done this for the last 3 weeks. But it was shit today. So that's what I'm talking about in the moment. Ange Postecoglou at the start, I loved them. The games you're talking about, and even up to Christmas, I thought I still like the guy. I can see the future. I can see what he's trying to do, but I was still very, very sceptical regarding European performances, the gung-ho style, as you said earlier, the inverted fullback, which I'm still trying to get my head around a bit. But it's so good to be proved wrong. Starfelt, Greg Taylor, so many talking points, but I don't want to go off on too many tangents. But I think the big one will be the Champions League. I haven't seen. What's that?
That's good.
You'll need to plant him somewhere in the growing seeds and pick him up in fucking 2024. He'll still be 5 foot 1. He's big on fucking Gio.
That is good patter. That is good patter, Monty. I'm talking about the evolution of Ange and him growing. I've not seen Gio grow. But that was good. That was good. Sharp darts, Monty, mate. Sharp darts.
Very sharp, mate.
That's what it's all about. A wee bit of patter as well, mate. There's 150 live now, by the way. No to intimidate you in any way, shape, or form.
Nah, mate.
It's brilliant, eh? It's brilliant.
Love it, mate. Love it.
So
I've turned the comments off, so I'm a wee bit more relaxed. So I'm going to fucking text that prick later. He's bamming me up. So I'm on private, so you can slag me all you want, trips.
That's it, mate. Don't worry, mate. I get it tight as well. I get cold muscle coming in that, mate.
Listen, mate, I'm 40 now. It's fucking water off a duck. I couldn't care less, man. Honestly, I'm baldy as well. So if he's want a shot at that and all, fucking batter in, man. Couldn't give a fuck.
Oh, brilliant! Right, okay. As you know, sadly, Jota's not signed because that would have been brilliant. You know what I mean? If Jota had joined, that would have been the icing on the cake and what has been a jam-packed bus. However, what we are going to do, because it is Friday, is we are not going to back down. Don't back down. Double Doon. And what we are going to do is the Double Doon quiz, Del. Are you feeling ready for it, mate?
I'm not ready at all, mate. So, aye, get it up, you know.
Neither, mate. I don't even know what the answers. I'm going to Google them during the quiz, but that'll be fine. Now, we have obviously been talking a lot about CCV tonight, so I've decided it is a CCV Double Doon quiz. It's not as difficult as you think, mate. It's really not as difficult as you think. As always, I don't know how to do graphics or that on the internet, Del. I can't deny it. I don't have a clue, mate.
I'm the same. I'm shit, man.
I don't know how folk do it. I generally don't even know what they go on to. Like, what site how do they do it? I don't, like, I've got Microsoft Paint. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, how do they do that on Paint? But because of that, it means that we just use We just use the wee stop clock that comes with Windows. Eh?
I've seen it, mate. It's fucking infamous, mate. It's infamous.
Infamous,
I
maybe.
feel every time I see it, I'm making fucking Jackie Bird jump out, man.
That's brilliant, Pat. But well, we would like to thank our sponsors, Microsoft, tonight, who are obviously providing us with the stop clock as always. Right there, let's get these questions up, mate, and then it's time.
Go for it.
Here we go. You need to have the comments up for this because everyone answers at the same time. We'll finish the quiz. There'll be like 300 comments. Honestly, it goes mental because everyone has the old.
Yeah, I've got them up there. Yeah, I've got them up.
No, you need to call comments off. No, off. Because everyone will be
off, right. They were already off, man. Stop fucking flying my brain. I'm on the Stella.
It's good stuff, the way. I love the Stella. Great juice, mate. Now, I don't know if you know the rules, but basically you've got 3 lifelines. Always use Double Doon before. You can use it once. Each question gets more points as you go, but the questions get harder. Before I've read out one of the questions, you need to say Double Doon because you'll get double points for it. You can decide what question you do it for. If you do it for the top question, which is going to be the hardest, you go for glory, or whether you do it in the middle, it's up to you. The quicker you complete the quiz, obviously, the more points you get as well. And obviously, you can flip it. You can flip it. So that is your equivalent of getting an alternative question. You're only allowed to use that once. If you're not sure, flip it. That all good?
Go for it.
You're the man, mate. Del, I wish you the best of luck for this, mate. And what a pleasure it's been having you on the show. Let's do it, mate. It's time to Double Doon. Question number 1. What national team does Cameron
USA
play for? Question number 2. What club did Cameron Carter-Vickers join Celtic from? Question number 3. What club did CCV spend time on loan immediately before joining Celtic?
Bournemouth.
Question number 4.
20.
You checked that. Question number 5. How many goals did Cameron Carter-Vickers score for Celtic competitions last season? Oh, he's doing well. Question number 6.
Oh.
Say Hingley.
Don't know what. Flip.
Oh, he's flipping it. How many games did Celtic lose with CCV and Starfelt starting? Remember, Double Doon it.
Oh, shit, aye.
Just say it. Just say Double Doon, mate.
Double Doon.
Hey, how many games?
None. Zero.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Just over a minute there. That's fine. Well, Del. That was good, mate. The only one I'm not sure of is the squad number 1 because I genuinely don't know the answer.
Was it not 20?
I'm not sure. I think he was either 20 or 22. I genuinely can't remember.
I told you before it, I'd been watching it. I watched all the Friday. I said I'm not Googling shit because they'll be like, aye, okay. These two have been in fucking conflab before the fucking Bhoycie bus.
No, I wanted to make it a bit of fun tonight. I didn't want it a stressful quiz because I just think we're on such a high. Aye, squad number was 20, Del. This is good, mate.
Yes!
This is good, mate. Like, really good. We'll recap it now. So, we had, what national team did he play for? You said USA, 5 points. We had, what club did he join Celtic from? You said Spurs, that's 10 points. We had, what club did he spend time on loan immediately before joining? That was tricky.
Yeah.
But you're right. Bournemouth, mate.
Was it Bournemouth?
Yes.
Oh, was it? I was thinking I'd Swansea in my head. I wasn't 100% sure.
We had, what squad number was Cameron Carter-Vickers last year? Another tricky one, but you got it.
Yes.
It was indeed. It was indeed squad number 20 for 30 points. Then we get to how many goals did he score? You said 4. Am I right? Is that what you said?
Aye, maybe just league goals, but
it was in all competitions. Cameron Carter-Vickers. I don't actually know the answer, I'm not gonna lie. It says 4 on Wikipedia though, so that's a good start, but I'm just going to double check. I think it is 4. Goals, Celtic.
I'm fucking nervous here, by the way.
Yeah, you've done all right, by the way. Oh, so he scored 4 league goals.
I thought that.
No, but I don't know. But did he score in another competition? That's the key. I don't think he did. We'll find out. We're going to find out, you fucker. 4 goals in 46 games.
Yeah.
Well done. And question number 6.
Did I flip that one?
You did the right thing. I don't even know what year he was born, mate. I just thought
Must be like 96 or something, is it?
I would guess 98. I don't. 97, mate.
Nah.
I knew you'd find it mental though. Do you know what I mean? If you'd used your flip it and you were having to take a punt, I knew you'd be like, what? But you did flip it, which is brilliant. We've given you a Stewards Inquiry benefit of the doubt on the Double Doon here as well.
You've also how many gams, which is a bit dirty, but we'll let it go.
Just take that in.
Garries, how many Garries?
That was another 50 points. They didn't lose one in the league. We did actually speak about that on the show, stupidly on my part. And then we get to how fast you did it. It was between 1 and 2 minutes. That was 40 points. Mate, you're up in the top 3, I think, mate, for your score.
Yes.
15, 35, 65, 105, 155. I've got 195 here. I think I'm right. Someone can correct me. Phil will be watching right now. He'll be totaling them up. Phil, how many points did he get? I've got...
I'll put my comments back on the...
Aye, mate. Aye, you can. Of course you can. Number 1 on the list is Regan, who did the perfect show. I think him and Phil both did the perfect effort. But I mean, that was 5, 15, 35.
I'm happy with that anyway, man. That's class.
155. Oh, mate. No, because you doubled it. That's why. So that becomes 100. 245, mate. 245. You are joint top, mate.
Am I?
245.
Fuck off.
245, mate. You're joint top. You, Regan, Stevenson, and Phil McGinley all got 245. That's good company to be in, by the way. They both know their shit.
Delighted with that, man. Delighted with that.
Mate. Have you enjoyed yourself on the Double Doon Show tonight, my man?
Fantastic, mate. Honestly, I've loved it. Loved it, man.
Brilliant. Me and you are going to get a wee beer off air, mate. To everyone who's watched, thank you so much. 150 is most of the time tonight, and it's just ridiculous. I appreciate it so much on a Friday night. I know there's many different options to be getting up to than listening to my shite and Dale's shite, but it is a day of celebration, a night of celebration. Celtic have confirmed the signing of Cameron Carter-Vickers. The first part of the summer jigsaw puzzle is in place, and it is one of the main parts. I don't know what he's up to.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Have a good Friday.
I will see you all later. This is Chris Sutton.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.